A man mistakenly enters a werewolf tribe. While searching for his long-lost father, his companions are successively met with a tragic fate. Just as they are on the brink of total defeat, he unexpectedly learned that from the very beginning, this was a plot against him. The man's name is Wayne, although he appears to be a brute. In fact, he is a Vatican-certified exorcist. Yet, despite being such a fierce character, demons dare to actively seek trouble with him. On that day, Wayne was in his friend Murphy's bar when he saw a mysterious man walk in. This guy's movements were somewhat stiff, but what caught everyone's attention was his method of payment. He actually pulled out 3 antique coins, which caught the attention of the bar owner Moffat. Murphy first warned the man, but the mysterious man seemed not to hear at all. Moffat thought he was looking for trouble, and angrily ordered him to leave the bar. However, Moffat's command seemed to anger the mysterious man, who began growling lowly, then suddenly stood up. His speed was so fast that he left a blur behind. Moffat still doesn't understand what happened when the mysterious man charged straight at him. Thankfully, Moffat was prepared. He wielded his cane, knocking down the charging mysterious man. Moffat did not want more trouble, so he handed the situation to his men to drive the mysterious man away. But to his surprise, this guy was severely injured by Moffat just now, but it doesn't seem to have been affected by anything, even showing a trend of becoming more courageous in battle. The strong henchmen, who were initially able to overpower him, but in the end, they were no match. Most notably, the man had long and sharp nails. Sharp fangs protruded from his mouth. He intended to bite his opponent's neck. From his appearance, he was completely like the legendary vampire. Before long, all his henchmen were defeated. Seeing this, Moffat pulled out a shotgun, ready to show him the power of modern weaponry. But before he could act, he saw the mysterious man being subdued by his friend Wayne, the black priest thrusting a knife into the mysterious man's body, then taking the vampire away. Generally speaking, vampires don't cause trouble on their own, so this abnormal behavior must have a reason. Wayne pressed the man for the reason behind his visit, but the vampire remained stubbornly silent. Seeing this, Wayne didn't get angry either. He simply took out pliers and pulled out his fangs one by one, then threw them outside, leaving the vampire to fend for himself. As for the reason behind the arrival of the mysterious man, someone had already explained it to Wayne. These 2 men were from the British military. The reason they sent a vampire to cause trouble was to assess Wayne's exorcism abilities. It turns out that not long ago, the Allies accidentally discovered an island during an attack. After a team of American soldiers entered, they were attacked by unknown creatures. Based on the information that has come out, the soldiers were resting when they suddenly found a comrade dead for no apparent reason. Shortly after, a large creature emerged from the darkness. According to the reports, it resembled a werewolf from legends. The soldiers engaged in fierce combat with the creature, but couldn't inflict any damage on it. There wasn't even a trace of the enemy's blood left at the scene. Instead, it was the American soldiers who were killed. According to the photos taken by agents at the scene, it was extremely bloody and brutal. Therefore, they hoped to hire Wayne, the professional exorcist priest, to go and eliminate that werewolf creature. Of course, they wouldn't send him alone, as the area is currently under Japanese occupation. The British military will send a team to coordinate. However, these soldiers are not aware of the situation. They just went as regular rescue missions. After hearing the other side's story, Wayne was filled with hesitation, but then the 2 officers dropped another bombshell.
Last we heard, your father also disappeared from these parts.
For many years, Wayne has been searching for his father's whereabouts. Now that he finally has some information, he immediately agreed. Moffat didn't say much when he saw his friend going to the ocean to deal with the terrifying werewolf. He just gave him a box, which he claimed was a weapon for dealing with werewolves. Wayne opens it to find the legendary werewolf killer, the Demon Hunter crossbow, made of a solid piece of magical silver that can deal significant damage to any demon. Moffat giving this weapon to Wayne demonstrates the deep bond between them. In this way, this dangerous journey can also provide some self-protection. Wayne expressed his gratitude to Moffat, and then boards the plane to the Pacific Island, with the Demon Hunter crossbow, and the soldiers arranged by the British military. Meanwhile, on the target island, a local indigenous tribe is celebrating with songs and dances, possibly holding in a ceremony. almost everyone is smiling with joy. But a young woman named Nyla stands out, devoid of any happiness, and wearing a troubled expression. Upon glancing at the shaman in the distance, she immediately runs off, suggesting that she might be facing a life-threatening situation. The shaman and his followers notice Nyla running away, and give chase. Using their strong bodies, the men quickly catch up to Nyla, and forcibly take her back to the shaman's room. Without any communication, Nyla is pinned down on the bed, while the shaman mutters an incantation softly. Nyla resists more fiercely upon seeing the situation, but moments later she ceases her struggles. Suddenly, a terrifying werewolf appears before her, causing terror among everyone in the room, except for the shaman, who remains eerily calm. At this moment, the shaman unexpectedly scatters a mysterious dust into the air, and shortly after, the werewolf approaches Nyla. The werewolf gently exhales a green gas towards her, causing Nyla to immediately stiffen, her fate uncertain. Perhaps she already understood her destiny, which is why she tried to escape earlier. On Wayne's side, they finally arrive at the target island after days of flying. Contrary to their expectations of a plane landing, they have to parachute down, as the area is under Japanese military occupation, requiring them to remain discreet. This avoids the nearby Japanese bunkers. Unfortunately, during this time, one team member falls victim to a trap set by the locals, resulting in a casualty even before the mission begins. There's no time for mourning the fallen comrade. The team leader immediately orders everyone to hide, as they prepare to eliminate the Japanese stronghold. It's fortunate that it's now nighttime, providing them with an element of surprise. So the soldiers quietly approached, and Priest Wayne arrived at a certain sentry post. He gestured to his companions, and shot down the Japanese troops above. He then catched the falling soldier below, to silently infiltrate the stronghold. Yet the plan was perfect, but reality proved exceptionally cruel. The Japanese soldier who was shot did not fall as expected, but instead crashed straight into the stronghold. To make matters worse, another patrol of Japanese soldiers happened to pass by, discovering the operation. Wayne and his team, realizing their cover was blown, shifted tactics from infiltration to direct assault. At this moment, most of the Japanese soldiers were caught off guard. Taking advantage of surprise attacks, they swiftly eliminated a group of Japanese soldiers. By the time the enemy reacted, it was already too late. Both sides immediately engaged in fierce combat. In no time, all dozens of Japanese soldiers in the stronghold were killed by them. Following that came the cleanup phase, as they searched through the stronghold, hoping to find mission-related information. However, apart from the identification of the deceased American soldiers, they found no other useful information. Also, given the late hour, they decided to rest for the night within the Japanese stronghold. This decision temporarily spared them. The next day, they sorted out their belongings, and set off again. Before long, they arrived at the indigenous village. At this moment, remnants of yesterday's celebration could still be seen. However, for some reason, the residents of the tribe seemed to have no surprise towards these outsiders. One could even say, they were treated as if they were invisible. Even when a few approached to ask questions, they were ignored. Just when everyone was puzzled, they happened to encounter the tribal shaman. In contrast to the villagers, the shaman not only warmly received them, but also answered all their questions. However, the answers were rather perfunctory. When they inquired about local rumors and abnormalities, the shaman answered about various bunkers and strongholds that have appeared in recent years, and expressed no knowledge of rumors about werewolves and the like. This kind of response naturally did not satisfy the group, especially Wayne, who knew about the incident at the American military stronghold. The village is less than 3 kilometers away. With such a short distance, the shaman couldn't possibly be unaware, indicating he was hiding something. However, with their uncooperative attitude, Wayne and the others were at a loss. Just when everyone was unsure of what to do, the woman conducting the ritual, Nyla, appeared before them. Unlike the villagers and the shaman, she willingly offered to assist them. She was transparent in answering Wayne and the others' questions. It was then revealed that in the local ancient legend, initially only their tribe inhabited the area until one day, a cursed outsider appeared. This individual indiscriminately attacked humans, and ultimately transformed into a creature under the full moon. In conclusion, Nyla jokingly mentioned that these were ancient rumors, and need not be taken seriously. while others might dismiss it as legend. Wayne, being a professional exorcist, understood that this was indeed the origin story of a werewolf. From this perspective, it appeared that there were indeed traces of werewolves on the island. After learning about the local information, everyone thought Neela would leave. Unexpectedly, she volunteered to lead the group, her enthusiasm almost unsettlingly abnormal. However, the captain and others remained silent. Consequently, under Neela's guidance, the group traversed various jungle paths to reach the decimated American military outpost. The place was littered with severed limbs, even the ground beneath stained crimson with blood, resembling a hellish landscape. Witnessing such a horrific sight, the group was momentarily stunned. These brutal acts were beyond the scope of ordinary humans, excluding the Japanese invaders. Of course, as they delved deeper into the search, the scent of blood grew stronger, almost nauseating. In the depths of the outpost, countless dead American soldiers lay, each in a pitiful state of demise, evidently tortured before death. These signs presented a different picture to Wayne. He was certain that the perpetrator was not just a werewolf, but an immensely powerful one. Only such a being could slaughter so many soldiers, perhaps even more than one. After a brief search of the American outpost, confirming no survivors, the team's rescue mission concluded. Out of Allied camaraderie, they decided to hold a funeral for the fallen. Fortunately, a priest was present to deliver the eulogy for them. However, unnoticed by the others, the captain sneaked into the outpost's warehouse with 2 trusted aides. What exactly are they going to do? As it turns out, apart from Wayne, the rest of the team had their own task. According to intelligence, there are 4 boxes of gold bricks in this U.S. military stronghold. Upon learning this information, the 2 officers were consumed by greed, hence hiring Wayne to deal with the situation. After a brief search, the captain pinpointed the location of the gold in the warehouse, and then contacted his 2 trusted aides to prepare for its removal. However, before proceeding, he needed to report this to his superiors. Soon after, military officials in faraway England learned that the gold had been located. They immediately ordered the captain to return with the gold, emphasizing that Wayne must be left on the island. The captain, unaware of the full reasoning, followed orders dutifully as a soldier should. He informed his men to prepare to move the gold, and planned to leave Wayne behind without his knowledge on the island. However, there are no secrets that remain hidden forever, and even before this plan could unfold, it was already known to 2 individuals. First among them was Moffat, who had been wary of Wayne all along, hence monitoring the signals of the 2 officers. Their recent conversation had all been intercepted by Moffat. In a bid to retaliate against these scoundrels, he pretended to have confidential information, and invited the 2 officers to meet at his bar. Those fools didn't know that the truth had been exposed, so they agreed. Moffat began to prepare how to teach the 2 of them a lesson. However, at this moment, he noticed that the vampire had returned to the bar again. This time, it didn't cause any trouble, but rather slipped into the bar's basement. However, this action made Moffat even more nervous. He quickly stepped forward to intervene, taking advantage of the vampire's lack of readiness, ruthlessly plunging a wooden stake into its chest. Then, he pulled out his shotgun, questioning the vampire about its intentions. After pressing for answers, Moffat learned that Wayne had actually removed the vampire's fangs, leaving it unable to feed, and doomed to starve to death. He doesn't know where to get the news, but he has drugs here that can help him recover, available at Moffat's place, hence its return. The explanation seemed logical, but does such a miraculous medicine truly exist? In fact, it does. In previous battles against various supernatural beings, Wayne had often been severely injured, and each time, it was Moffat's miraculous medicine that saved his life. However, this elixir was not meant for vampires. Moffat, gun in hand, forced the vampire out step by step, taking advantage of the most intense sunlight at noon. Even a brief moment standing in the sun would scorch the vampire painfully, causing extensive burns in a short time. Observing this, Moffat shot the vampire in the left leg, informing it that the healing elixir awaited in the next patch of shade. Upon hearing this, the vampire, enduring pain and fear, rushed out, only to be shot in the other leg by Moffat. As soon as it stepped out, the vampire fell to the ground, its body burning under the scorching sun, meeting its end in flames. Here, Wayne is another person besides Moffat, who knows about the gold situation. Initially, after the funeral, he began searching for clues about his father. After some effort, He indeed found his father's photo in a box. However, at this moment, Neela suddenly found him, and inexplicably mentioned gold, urging them to quickly get rid of the cursed gold. Wayne was confused by Neela. He had no idea about any gold. He wanted to inquire further about the situation from Neela, but was interrupted by an attack. Suddenly, a werewolf appeared behind Wayne. Fortunately, with years of combat experience, he quickly reacted, wielding a demon-hunting crossbow, and shooting wildly at the werewolf, narrowly escaping. To prevent the werewolf from striking again, he rushed to inform the captain and others. However, during this time, the werewolf had already begun attacking others. As they passed through a certain corridor, a werewolf suddenly appeared. Before the three could react, the werewolf had already bitten through the throat of one of the men. The other two individuals, although startled, quickly reacted by pulling out their firearms to attack the werewolf. However, the regular bullets they fired at the werewolf seemed to have little to no effect. Fortunately, the werewolf seemed uninterested in attacking them. It simply dragged the body into the darkness. The two individuals also realized the danger, and prepared to retreat from the area. However, to their surprise, another werewolf emerged from the darkness behind them. The two became tense once again, preparing to fight for their lives, only to be ambushed from behind. It was then that they understood that the previous werewolf had not left. It had simply lulled them into a false sense of security. Now, only the woman remained. Realizing that firearms were ineffective against these creatures, she drew her dagger, preparing for hand-to-hand combat. However, the power difference between them was too great. With no room to maneuver, she was brutally killed by the werewolf. On the captain's side, they had just managed to load the gold onto the truck, and were preparing to leave, when a werewolf suddenly attacked. The captain and others were caught off guard. Fortunately, Wayne arrived in time, and wounded the werewolf with his demon-hunting crossbow. But at this moment, a sudden change occurred. Neela, who had been very friendly all along, unexpectedly transformed into a werewolf. Before the captain could comprehend what was happening, he was cruelly killed. Facing the attacking werewolves, even Wayne had to temporarily evade their aggression. He drove the truck loaded with gold into the jungle to evade pursuit, but the weight of the 4 boxes of gold was too much, and the vehicle couldn't run fast. Therefore, Wayne decided to abandon the truck. The surviving 3 individuals entered the jungle on foot to hide, successfully evading the pursuit of the werewolves. After narrowly escaping to a safe location, Wayne did not relax. Instead, he armed the others immediately. Knowing that werewolves fear silver items, he had silver bullets crafted for them, specifically to counter this group of werewolves. After making thorough preparations, they returned to the American military base for revenge. Following the previous battles, the werewolves understood that their weapons could neutralize their abilities. Therefore, the werewolves were very clever this time, utilizing their agility and the complex surroundings to continuously evade the incoming bullets. However, what the soldiers didn't know was that the werewolf they were focused on was just a decoy. The real threat had already approached them from behind. On the other side, Wayne heard his comrade's screams, and immediately realized something was wrong. As he was about to go for support, he encountered a werewolf, and had to take preemptive action. With a series of bullets fired, the werewolf was completely eliminated. However, the sounds of battle attracted more werewolves. Yet, the tables had turned. Faced with silver bullets, these werewolves who didn't know how to evade were easy targets, being shot dead by Wayne on the spot. Unexpectedly, the werewolf from before was just a decoy. The real threat was Neela, who launched a sneak attack. Wayne found himself overpowered by her, and on the brink of death when a gunshot rang out. One of the 2 soldiers from earlier was still alive. He wounded Neela with a silver bullet, causing her to revert to human form. Deprived of her werewolf strength, she began to weaken. Wayne immediately inquired about his father's whereabouts. He learned that his father had long turned into a werewolf, but even Neela didn't know where he was. In her final moments, she asked Wayne to take the gold away, because too many people had disrupted the tribe's life for these possessions. After that, Neela breathed her last breath. Finally, Wayne returned to his hometown with the 4 boxes of gold to fulfill Neela's final wish. Coincidentally, he encountered Moffat and two military officers. Wayne offered them a small portion, presenting them with only two choices. First, take the gold and leave, never to disturb him again. Second, refuse the gold. Wayne then reported their unauthorized actions, which led to the death of a group of soldiers. Ensuring they couldn't escape punishment, the two men exchanged a glance, and decisively took the money and left. The movie ends here. The Blood Hunt was released in October of this year. It adopts a very classic werewolf story. Although it doesn't impress people, there won't be any problems. The overall story is also a very traditional monster hunting tale. However, the film is set in the backdrop of 1945 during World War II, which provides a satisfying element of killing Japanese invaders. Furthermore, the movie intentionally employs retro filming techniques, with all werewolves portrayed using costume suits. In this age dominated by technological effects, this approach offers a unique charm. If you enjoy my channel, please click subscribe.